Bring in the opposition chief whip, Aaron Violi. Aaron, I know it's an area that you've been looking at closely. We've seen the Productivity Commission initial report out saying that maybe we change the copyright laws. Artists, intellectual property creators not happy with it. What do you think of that discussion?
Well, thanks, Kieran. It's great to be with you. It's an important discussion. It's something I've been talking about for 3 years since being elected, so it's nice to see that I guess it's becoming a lot more mainstream given the importance of AI for our community. And the reality is that it creates opportunities, significant productivity gains, economic growth, but there is some risk and there is some trade-off, and we need to make sure that we get the balance right in protecting artists in particular when it comes to copyright and the time and effort that they're putting into creating that content, but also understanding that the content that is created and is on the internet and on the web does allow AI machine learning to generate so much new content. So this is the trade-off. And what we're really lacking from this government is leadership. You know, we've got Andrew Leigh on one side saying less regulation, Tim Ayres on the other saying more regulation, wanting to push the union agenda. The Prime Minister and the Treasurer have been absent in providing leadership around an AI strategy, and that's what we need.
It's known as a text and data mining. It sounds innocuous, but it really hoovers up everything that there is on the internet.
Yeah, correct. And I worked at a tech startup before politics, and we called it scraping, and it is literally scraping the internet for information. And so there is a real philosophical question that governments need to answer around where we go in terms of once you put content on the internet, publicly available, who owns it? Is it therefore public for everyone? Is a commercial entity using it? Do they have to pay for that? They're the questions that we need. That's why we need clarity. It's why we need an AI strategy led by the government. Every other G7 country has an AI strategy. They know the direction of where they're trying to go. We don't have that in Australia. For 3 years, this government have dropped the ball. They had a discussion paper that then led to a working group that provide no clarity for business, no clarity for consumers, no clarity for artists. We're asking people to invest, but without that certainty that they need.
Isn't it just about enforcing the law, the copyright law that exists? Isn't that's the law? Shouldn't big tech simply just pay up where they use it?
Well, it's a great point, Kieran, and that's the first question that we should be asking when it comes to AI. It is a new technology, but in many ways, the first question is, do the existing laws adequately protect consumers and protect businesses, and should they be enforced to a better degree? Because AI impacts everything. So that's the question the government should be asking. Do the current copyright laws, are they fit for purpose, and do we just need to enforce them better, or are they not fit for purpose and do we need to change them? But yeah, they're correct. That's what they need to answer as we stand here today.
And when you look at big tech, they don't instill you with a lot of confidence that they would be willing to pay up, more like bulldoze everyone and everything.
Well, that is the track record when you have a look. I know media companies, News Limited and journalists and others, this has been an ongoing debate and governments have had to step into this space beforehand. And there's certainly a strong track record, as you said, Kieran, of big tech and social media companies in particular wanting to bulldoze their way through. What we can't allow is AI companies to just bulldoze through and all these laws not to be adhered to. But equally, we do want to create an environment where we can maximise the benefits, business can invest with certainty. And straddling that line is a challenging circumstance, and there's going to be trade-offs, and we need to try and get that balance right. But again, it comes back to this leadership of understanding from the government, what are we trying to achieve and how do we achieve it in Australia's national interest? But they haven't outlined how they see an AI strategy benefiting Australia. They've been silent on this issue, and there is internal conflict within the government on the best way forward, which is deeply concerning given the productivity challenges that we face. And that should be one of the key outcomes of the roundtable, which was a productivity roundtable, then became economic reform. Now sounds like it's going to be a taxathon if Jim Chalmers has his way, but we need a clear AI strategy and a pathway forward to come out of this roundtable.
The taxathon, yeah. Well, Tim Wilson, I know, is trying to get that line up. So, yeah, I understand the coalition going along that path. But then if you look at the upside here, and just put, let's be a bit optimistic. This AI revolution is also one which can lead to huge gains in terms of our economic growth. And as a nation that's nimble, we are pretty good at adopting technology.
Absolutely, and that's why I've been a passionate advocate, Kieran, of AI since being elected and prior to politics, because of the benefits and of the opportunities. And it's not making people work longer or harder. It's allowing us to work smarter, make the most of our time, get home sooner to our family and friends, and do jobs that we find really enjoyable and engaging and creative. Because a lot of AI is that mundane, joining the dots between data that some people love and others don't. So how we unlock those productivity gains for the economy. But just as importantly, there are so many opportunities when it comes to health, when it comes to education, when it comes to other services that governments provide, whether it's Services Australia, My Aged Care, NDIS. How can we use AI and technology to ensure that as governments, we're delivering services to the community in the most efficient way possible to give them a better experience, to get that money and that support to those that need it so much? They're the big questions that we as lawmakers need to be asking ourselves, mitigate that risk, but unlock the opportunities for the country, because it's on every level. AI will impact us all, and we need to have that leadership and make sure we get the positives out of it.
Yeah, indeed. That's the challenge. But we'll talk to you next week, Aaron. Thanks.
Thanks, Kieran.